Okay, this tip is for anybody who would like to begin to learn how to lead a worship team with an acoustic guitar. If you already know how to play acoustic guitar, you probably will laugh at me at how simple this is and how much of a cheater I'm kind of being in certain ways, so it's not for you. But if you don't know how to play acoustic guitar at all, this will give you a basic foundation to build on later. This will get you going to be able to play most worship songs, and then you can build on your skills as you go. So, first of all, obviously you need a guitar, and you're going to need a capo. This right here will strap onto the neck of the guitar and make it to where you can change the key. So for example, first chord I'm going to show you is a G. Alright, I haven't showed you yet, but so you got a G, right? Okay. You put the capo on, say for example, on the 2nd fret. By the way, this is really hard to hold the guitar in this weird way with, and try to put the capo on at the same time, so bear with me. Okay, so now capo is on 2, and you make the same G chord underneath that capo, and then, whoa, right? So now that's an A, because it goes G to G sharp to A. So you're playing G, but what you're hearing is A, so it's very helpful. That's going to be a very important principle, which is why you need to go get a capo. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do that G chord. Move this guitar back. Alright, so the first 4 chords I'm going to show you entirely use these 2 fingers, your pinky and your ring finger, basically planted in the same position, which will make it easier for you to learn how to play these first 4 chords. Yeah, because it's like a muscle memory thing or whatever. So these are called frets: 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, etc. So you're going to plant these 2 fingers, like I said, your pinky on the 3rd fret bottom string, and your ring finger on the 3rd fret 2nd to last string. Okay. You're going to take your middle finger and put it also in the 3rd fret but on the top string, and that frees up your pointer finger to be in the 2nd fret on the 2nd string from the top. Now I hope you can see that. It's really hard to hold the guitar this way and do the chord correctly. This is one of the true versions of G. You can also do a G with your your ring finger off. However, for this first thing, don't do that. There's your G. Now, for a version of C that works really well with most worship songs, it just so happens that it's also easy to play. The correct form of C is more complicated, especially for beginners. And what you'll do is you just take your top 2 fingers where they are, and you just slide them exactly 1 string down. And you're not going to play this top string, okay? So don't play the top string. So what I do is I actually rest my middle finger up against, it's probably hard to see, I rest it, I'm pressing down on the string, and I rest it up against the top string so that it muffles it. And then you play the bottom 5 strings. And that is a variation of C. Not super smart as far as exactly what it is called, but I believe it's called a C major add 9 or something. I think it's an add 9 of some kind on the chord C. So once again, if you're really good at music theory and you know exactly what it's called, feel free to laugh at me. I do not mind. Okay, so you got your G, then you've got your C, which is really close to it. Pretty nifty. Okay, now your 3rd chord is you just take your 2 fingers that you're moving again, once again keeping your pinky and your ring finger down there, and you are putting them in the 2nd fret. Let's see if we can get there. Alright, and the 2nd string from the top and the 3rd string from the top in the 2nd fret. Okay, see, we're in the 2nd fret. There and there. It's hard to kind of see. There you go. Alright, so and that is a version of E minor. Okay? And that sounds really good. It's kind of a softer E minor. It's not a very quality sound because I'm holding the guitar so funny. Anyway, but you get the idea. And then the last is a little bit tricky. It is a version of D. It's like a D sustain. Alright, and so you're going to take your, there we go, your middle finger and put it all the way on, man, the bottom string. It's really hard to see, but you're going to put it all the way on the bottom string. Right, like there. There you go. Just like that. And it might be a little hard to do, but I'll show you how to do that. And then you skip this second to bottom string, and you go ahead and put your pointer finger then on the third from the bottom string. Alright, and so you're still planting your two fingers right there, and you're kind of, alright. Now, if you're observant, you'll notice that you've got two fingers on the bottom string. You've got your pinky finger and your middle finger on the bottom string, and that is because, like I said, this is a variation of the D chord. It's a D sustain, and what that means is, see if I can get the thing in position. Alright, so ideally you're going to be able to pull your pinky off of it, like so, and then you still have your middle finger behind it. It's really hard to see, I know, I'm sorry. So, that being said, this is what the D sustain sounds like. No, that's not what it sounds like. Alright. There you go, see, you can hear that top string. That high string, I mean. Now when you take the pinky off, then there's your regular D. It's very important to learn it this way. That way you can lift your pinky and have your regular D chord. If you learn it wrong, where you don't have your middle finger where it's supposed to be, you won't be able to move this pinky and do a regular D. That's a problem, specifically if you're going to be playing in the key of D. So, to recap, this is the main chording for the key of G. You got your G, then you move it down, and you got your C, and your E minor, and your D sustain. Now, it's going to be important to learn a handful of others. One is A minor. Wait, it is trickier than you think to keep this guitar on the disc. Alright, so A minor is going to be these two middle strings, okay, on the second fret. You put your two middle fingers of the four, obviously other than your thumb. So those two middle fingers, you put them on the two middle strings on the second fret. So let's see if I can do that. Alright, there. So there you go. It leaves your pointer finger to then put on the third, no, sorry, second from the bottom on the first fret. So that looks like this, which of course everything's in the way for you. There's your two, and then so there's your A minor. It's kind of like a secondary minor in the key of G. Alright, so you've got G, C, D sustain, and also D, because I showed you how if you take your pinky off, you've got regular D. And then your A minor. And the last I'm going to show you is another minor that will be very helpful. I'll show you two more. There's a variation of A, where, no, we'll not do A. Okay. Sorry. So you got your A minor. And then the last is going to be a B minor. It's a variation of a B minor. This is kind of a cheater. I call this cheater B minor. It's where you take the second from the top and the second fret, and you skip the third, go to the fourth with your your middle finger, and you skip, and the bottom one is with your ring finger. So it's like skip, then pointer, skip, then middle, skip, then ring. I think technically this is a B minor 7. Alright, so you've got G, C, D sustain, and also D. A minor and B minor. And learn how to use a capo, and you're gold. So for example, you've got those 4 chords, G, C, E minor, D sustain. And oftentimes on a bridge, you might come to the A minor, like that. So there you get the idea. And B minor comes into play when you're in the key of D. So you're playing D. There's a B minor 7. And then in the key of D, you're going to want to learn A, which, by the way, so I showed you A minor. It's where you have your 2 middle fingers on the middle strings and your pointer finger on, well, that is so hard to see. Huh. There we go. And your pointer finger on the second to last string. Well, basically A is just don't put the pointer finger down. That's a version of A. It's kind of pretty. Officially, A has 1 more finger down, but honestly my fingers are too fat to do it right. I think it sounds pretty. So G, C, E minor 7, or I think it's a variation of E minor 7. G, C, E minor, D sustain, D regular, A minor, regular A, and the B minor, I believe, 7. That'll teach you how to play in 2 different keys. That's the key of G and the key of D. Learn those chords and get yourself a capo to transpose, and you're basically money. So if you're going to be playing in the key of G and you put the capo on 2, then you are in the key of A. That's the way it works. Each fret is a half step. So depending on where you put the... So if you want to play in the key of G, you play it open. Right? If you want to play in G sharp, you put the capo on 1, and then your G sharp if you play a regular G chord. So you got G, G sharp, capo 2, A. So I'm still playing G form. Alright? So then you keep going. The 3rd fret would obviously be A sharp or B flat, if you prefer to speak in terms of flats instead of sharps. 4th would be B, and the 5th would be C. Now capo 5 is getting a little ridiculous, but honestly, it'll work. Alright, so I'm on capo 5, and sometimes it can sound really cool anyway, so no big deal. So my G that I'm playing is a C. I'm hearing C, playing G. It's pretty cool. Now, obviously you don't want to really go past capo 5 because it's getting a little ridiculous, and honestly it's a little harder to play. The higher up you get, it's like, and it's really hard. So that's where D comes in. You learn how to play the D chords. So capo 5 is C. Well, then if you want to play in the key of D, you just take the capo off again and you play in D. D, A, B minor, G. Alright? And then obviously you can go D sharp by putting the capo on 1. You can do E by putting it on capo 2, F by capo 3, and then you're back to G again, which is just open, and G. So you play every single key, at least adequately, by learning those chords that I demonstrated and getting yourself a capo. So I hope that helps. Sorry for the super long video. I try to keep it short, but it's not always easy. God bless, and let me know if you have any questions.